you're not familiar with the idea of subsidiarity, it's something very specific that we talk about within the Catholic context of understanding how we, as people of faith, relate not just to the government and the market, but to our local communities. Father Sirico, can you talk a little bit about subsidiarity and how this is very helpful for current millennials who are struggling with the idea of socialism?
I'm so glad you brought up subsidiarity because it's a wonderful way of thinking about a problem. This is one of these instances where it's not so much telling you what to think, but how to think. And really, when you do think about it, it becomes very clear. It's common sense. Subsidiarity basically says that needs are best met at the most local level of their existence. So that if there's a need in my life, I'm the first one that has the responsibility to meet that need. I'm thirsty. Well, I need to get up and get a drink of water. If there's a breakdown, let's say I'm sick or I can't get out of bed, then the next most proximate people to me are the ones first to help me. My parents or my spouse or whoever it happens to be in my household. When there's a breakdown in a whole family, then it's the families closest to them, neighbors who relate to people in need. Perhaps there's a breakdown in a whole neighborhood. Then institutions come into play, like the local parish or mediating institutions like charities and the like. Maybe even a city acts
Right.
to meet the needs of people. And then it goes up to higher levels of government. But the principle of subsidiarity says that needs are best met because on the most local level, that's where people know people best.
Right.
And when they do meet their needs, a bond forms between
Mhm.
people.
And
As
I
it
think a
gets to
good
more abstract, go ahead.
Yes. No. Well, I was just going to give an example of this too, like in terms of systems such as roads. If we have this universal attitude across the nation that because there are hard winters, that we should replace and reconstruct all of the roads, repave them every year. Well, that's going to be a waste of time in Southern California where it's an arid
Right.
desert and we don't get a lot of rain and the roads don't have a ton of damage. But if you're in a mountainous region, if you're in the Midwest with tons of rain, that does make sense. And we would be wasting
Yes.
time and even damaging a work ethic to be doing work that wasn't necessary. We'd fail to see the purpose in our work. And so that's another example of subsidiarity. A local government should be able to help determine what the local needs are of the people, of the various systems of road work. And all of these examples are really important that people just don't quite understand when it comes to government and socialism.
I think that's an excellent example of the application of subsidiarity. Another thing about subsidiarity, it says that while it is justifiable for interventions to take place in the case of emergencies or manifest failures, it also says that that assistance should be removed as soon as
Mm.
possible so as
Mm-hmm.
not to become permanently a fixture of society. That subsidiarity, the very word subsidium, means to help, to assist, not to replace. And that's another feature of subsidiarity. Let's think too that this is not just about material needs. It's also about human bonding, human families. Sometimes and very often the most deep things, the most profound things that people need are not just material needs, but human bonding, love,
Mm-hmm.
family, challenge, moral example, those kinds of things that are intangible.